Good morning! I am Juliet Tawakal Manalao, your learning facilitator for today. I have our pictures. What shape do you see? Correct! It's octagon. How about this polygon? Correct! It's triangle. How about this one? Correct! It's pentagon. How about this polygon? What shape do you see? Correct! It's rectangle. Let's proceed to Math Kinig, Matsaya To. The song is entitled The Perimeter Song in the tune of May Tatlong Bibe.
The perimeter is all around. Oh, don't you know perimeter is all around? Add up all the sides, just up all the sides. Oh, no, you know that you just add up all the sides. That's perimeter. That's perimeter. Oh, that's perimeter. The perimeter is all around. Oh, don't you know perimeter is all around? Add up all the sides, just up all the sides. Oh, no, you know that you just add up all the sides. That's perimeter. That's perimeter. Oh, that's perimeter.
It's your turn. What is the message of the song? Correct! Perimeter is all around. Another one. Correct! You add up all the sides. What message that the song is trying to imply? That's very good! But we will discuss in detail for you to understand more about the topic. Let us listen to the conversation of the two sisters.
When I grow up, I want to buy a house and lot.
Wow! A dream house! Where do you want to buy it and how big do you want it to be?
I'd like to buy it here in Metro Manila. The size? Maybe 250 meters by 350 meters is spacious enough.
That size is okay. You can even have your own garden in your backyard. You probably dream of having your own house someday. Just keep in mind that you will realize that dream if you work really hard. How big is the house that the girl in the picture above wants to have? Can you tell how spacious her house will be? In this lesson, you will learn to find the distance around a lot, farm or house. The distance around an area is called the perimeter. There are many practical advantages of knowing how to compute for the perimeter. The following are the polygons: the triangle, which has 3 sides; the quadrilateral, which has 4 sides; the pentagon, which has 5 sides; the hexagon has 6 sides; the heptagon has 7 sides; and the octagon, which has 8 sides. What do you call the polygon below? How many sides does it have? Very good! It has 4 sides. The polygon above is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. What type of a quadrilateral is it? It is a rectangle. Notice the measurements of the sides of the rectangle. Suppose you are asked to find the perimeter of a rectangle. How are you going to do this? The perimeter of a polygon is the sum of the measurements of all its sides. To find the perimeter of the rectangle above, you only have to add the lengths of its sides. The following are the sides of the rectangle under given measurements. A to C is equivalent to 12 meters. B to D is equivalent to 12 meters. A to B is equivalent to 6 meters. And C to D is equivalent to 6 meters. To get the perimeter, we have to add the measurements of the four sides. 12 meters plus 12 meters plus 6 meters plus 6 meters. That gives us a perimeter of the rectangle equivalent to 36 meters. Examine the sides of the rectangle more closely. Which sides of the rectangle do you think represent its length? Which sides represent the width of the rectangle? In the rectangle, sides AC and BD represent the length of the rectangle. Sides AB and CD represent the width. You now know that in order to find the perimeter of a rectangle, you have to add the measurements of all its sides. You also know that two sides of the rectangle represent its length, while the other two sides represent its width. A to B is equivalent to B to D, and this is the length of the rectangle, while A to B is equal to C to D. This is the width of the rectangle. From this, you can come up with a formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. P is equal to length times 2 plus width times 2, where P is the perimeter, L is the length of the rectangle, and W is the width of the rectangle. In the rectangle in our example, A to C is equal to B to D, and that is equal to 12 meters. And A to B is equal to C to D is equal to 6 meters. Using the formula, P is equal to L times 2 plus W times 2. That gives us 36 meters. The answer you got when you added the measurements of all the sides of the rectangle is the same as the answer you got when you used the formula above, right? Let us study the following problem. Example: Anna is interested in buying the vacant lot beside her house. The real estate broker informed her that the lot is 15 meters long and 10 meters wide. What is the perimeter of the lot? Here's the solution. The given facts are: length is equivalent to 15 meters, width is equivalent to 10 meters. The problem is, what is the perimeter of the lot? Using the formula, P is equivalent to length times 2 plus width times 2. Using the substitution of the values of L and W in the formula, this will become P is equal to 15 meters times 2 plus 10 meters times 2. That gives us 30 meters plus 20 meters. So the perimeter of the lot is 50 meters. For 10 minutes, answer the following questions. Write your answer on your activity notebook. Okay, let us check your work. For number 1, the correct answer is 54 meters. In number 2, the correct answer is 34 meters. In number 3, the correct answer is 64 meters. And in number 4, the correct answer is 154 meters. Check your work. Another type of quadrilateral is the square. The square is a polygon with 4 equal sides. See the picture below. Notice that the measurements of all the sides of the square are the same. If you were to compute for the perimeter of a square, how would you do it? Recall that the perimeter of a rectangle is simply the sum of the measurements of all its sides. The same process is used in finding the perimeter of square. 4 meters plus 4 meters plus 4 meters plus 4 meters, that gives us 16 meters. Suppose we represent a side of a square as S. The perimeter of a square then is S plus S plus S plus S is equal to 4S. Since S is equal to 4 meters, then 4S is equal to 4 times 4 meters. That gives us 16 meters. For a square, P is equivalent to 4S, where P is the perimeter of the square, S is the length of one side of the square. Try answering these questions. Compute for the perimeter of each of the following squares having the given length of the side. Number 1. S is equivalent to 8 meters. Number 2. S is equivalent to 12 meters. Number 3. S is equivalent to 10.5 meters. And number 4. S is equivalent to 25 meters. You have 4 minutes to solve the problem. Let us check your work. There are other polygons aside from the rectangle and square. Some other polygons are the triangle, hexagon, pentagon, and octagon. You can also find the perimeters of these polygons by adding the measurements of all their sides. Example number 1. A rice field is pentagonal in shape. The lengths of its sides are 205 meters, 115 meters, 153 meters, 187 meters, and 165 meters respectively. If the owner wants to fence it with 3 strands of barbed wire, how many meters of wire in all will be needed? Here's the solution. To find the total number of meters of barbed wire needed to fence the pentagonal rice field, you have to compute for the perimeter of the rice field. Given the measurement of the sides of the field, it would look like this. To get its perimeter, simply add all its sides. The perimeter of the field is 825 meters, but the owner wants to fence it with 3 strands of barbed wire. To get the total number of meters of barbed wire needed, we multiply the perimeter by 3. Therefore, 825 meters times 3, the owner needs 2,475 meters. Another example. Find the perimeter of the triangle below. To find the perimeter, add the measurements of its sides. So, 5 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 4 centimeters, that gives us 14 centimeters. Therefore, P is equivalent to 14 centimeters. Let us watch this video.
Perimeter. Today, let's learn how to find the perimeter of a polygon. The word perimeter comes from 2 Greek words, peri and metron. Peri means around and metron means measure. Thus, perimeter is the total distance of all the sides of a closed plane figure. Hence, it is found by adding the lengths of all the sides of a closed plane figure. Today, we will learn how to find the perimeter of the polygons triangle, rectangle, and square using formulas. Let's start with the triangle. A triangle has 3 sides, side A, side B, and side C. To find the perimeter of a triangle, we add the lengths of all its sides. Thus, perimeter of a triangle is equal to A plus B plus C. Let's find the perimeter of a triangle having the dimensions P is equal to 7 meters, Q is equal to 8 meters, and R is equal to 10 meters. We know that perimeter of a triangle is equal to the sum of the lengths of all its sides, which is equal to P plus Q plus R. That is 7 plus 8 plus 10, which is equal to 25 meters. Thus, perimeter of the triangle is equal to 25 meters. Now, let us look at the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. We have already learned that a rectangle has 4 sides, wherein its opposite sides are equal in length. Thus, the perimeter of rectangle is equal to length plus breadth plus breadth. Therefore, perimeter is equal to 2 into L plus 2 into B, where L is the length and B is the breadth, which is equal to twice of length plus breadth. Now, let's find the perimeter of a rectangle having the dimensions length is equal to 18 kilometers and breadth is equal to 12 kilometers. Using the formula, perimeter of the rectangle is equal to 2 into, in brackets, 18 plus 12 is equal to 2 into 30, which is 60 kilometers. Thus, the perimeter of the rectangle is 60 kilometers. Finally, let's look at the perimeter of a square. We know that the lengths of the 4 sides of a square are the same. Thus, the perimeter of a square can be calculated by adding all the 4 sides of a square. Thus, perimeter of a square is equal to S plus S plus S plus S, which is equal to 4 times the length of a side. Now, let's find the perimeter of a square having sides of 10 centimeters. Using the formula, perimeter of the square is equal to 4 into 10, which is equal to 40 centimeters. Thus, perimeter of the square is 40 centimeters. Wasn't it easy to find the perimeters of these polygons?
For 5 minutes, answer the following questions. Let's try this. For 10 minutes, let us solve the following problems. Write your computations on a separate sheet of paper. Let's sum up. Give examples of geometrical shapes. What do you mean by perimeter? How do you compute the perimeter of rectangle, square, and triangle? How do you compute the perimeter of geometrical shape that doesn't have equal sides? Examples of geometrical shapes are triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, and octagon. Perimeter comes from the word peri and meter. Peri means around and meter means measurement. Perimeter means distance around an area or distance around a polygon. The perimeter of a polygon is the sum of the measurements of all its sides. For a rectangle, P is equivalent to L times 2 plus W times 2, where P is the perimeter of a rectangle, L measure of the length, W measure of the width. For a square, P is equivalent to 4S, where P is the perimeter of a square and S is a measure of a side of a square. For triangle and other polygons, just add all the measurements of all its sides. Group work by learning group. For 15 minutes, answer your worksheets. Explained. How do you apply perimeter, which means boundary, in your daily life activities? Cite at least one example. Let's proceed to evaluation. Open your worksheets and for 5 minutes, answer what is asked. Assignment. Write an essay on one whole sheet of paper. If you have crossed unintentionally others' perimeter, how do you solve the situation? Cite an example. Thank you for giving your time to attend to our class today. Hoping to see you on our next schedule. Bye!